I mean, I should shoot it. I think we can go. Let's do it. I'm gonna do it with you. Fuck it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna go. Just gonna go to the storage, and I'm gonna bring what my current practice is in right now. I was going to show you a little bit of what you're going to see because I think it's important to see the images, and then because I mean you're gonna see it installed, and then I'm gonna show you.
Oh my God, it's working.
So this was for my MFA thesis.
Yes, I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
I saw it.
And I was working on video, on the chalk drawings, and I did this
Yeah,
piece.
what material is that? I couldn't.
This is this stanchion. So I weaved this stanchion curtain.
That's sick.
And I'm really interested on following this language that is happening with this. And you guys are going to go with me, and we're gonna look at it in person.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So let's go.
Would you say your work is like very political, or do you try to not be so political? Or?
I think that's. I mean, I've always like had like a little bit of a trouble with that question. Not that of course I'm having trouble you asking it, but answering it.
Yeah.
And I think especially since I came here to the United States, because I actually have never thought about any type of work not being political. I think every work is political. I think there's no possibility of actually like separating those things, or like deciding like maybe my work this time is not gonna be political. I think the mere act of like standing for something, for an idea, for a project, for a prompt, for like a value, something that you really believe in, and I think it's a political act to create and to transform and to really like propose and to put something out there. I think it's a political act. But in terms of the content, I do think that my work really like constantly is in dialogue, or like questioning, or having friction, or sometimes parasiting the structures of colonial politics and the colonial strategies, which were the ones that I was raised in around. I grew up in a very big city in Bogota, Colombia. It's almost 12 million people. It's a huge city surrounded by mountains. So I think all of my work also has a lot of relationship with that city, and also the public space. I think I spend a lot of time outside. I think for me, in a moment I was thinking more like I was doing more work like maybe outside. So my studio practice, like, I don't know, the streets were my studio in a way, because I really think I was more interested on the things that were happening outside than just being in a studio, like creating my own things. I was more like observing the different, appropriation of spaces, or all these things that are not like regulated in the public space. And also thinking and asking myself always, since I was very young, since I started studying. I was like 18 or 17, like you guys. For me, I was always like curious about like what it really means something to be public, and what is like that difference between public and private. I think that's how my practice really started.
Where do you draw that line? What is public and what is private?
I think that more than what it is, I think that distinction itself informs a lot. The distinction itself, or the separation itself, is telling us a lot of how we have organized and we have designed cities and designed the idea, or think that the world is actually like there's like a public and a private. I think that really like discloses that that distinction is an artificial distinction, or like it's culture. Like we decided that some things were like public or private, but I think the mere idea of thinking that the public space is somehow like free or neutral, I think it's also like it's bullshit. I mean, the public space is full with propaganda, or you know, of commerce, of companies and infrastructure and bureaucracy. You know, like the invisible power structures that exist in the public space. The invisible and the visible. Important to not cut your hair and immediately like throw it away.
To keep it?
I mean, just to stay with it for a while, you know, a couple of days, having a conversation, because, you know, something is exiting your body, and that memory and that history is like going away. And
So you're just gonna leave it there for a few days?
it's been like 4 days.
Oh, interesting. Very serious with their record collections.
I mean,
It's a serious topic.
more than serious for me. It's like, again, it's like there's like a cartography of your life. And, let's see what we're gonna play. Let's see. What are we gonna play? Maybe some Pastor Lopez? Ooh, or maybe Pacheco. Could be nice.
You can talk about self-help too if you want.
I mean, what is like really interesting about like the exercise of having the prints of your work, for me, it's I normally start like doing this. I think about it as the cartography of my practice, the cartography of various languages that I've explored, and I think the only way that I'm able to see it is when I do these things, when I lay the images on the ground. And every time it's like a new configuration. Then I start like, you know, understanding why a work that, I don't know, was made 10 years prior to, for example, let's say this work, or 5 years to that work, you know, they're starting to have relationships and conversations that maybe I knew or I didn't knew about it. Really striving for the possibility that we ourselves and all living organisms create space, have the possibility to create and to produce space. That space is not finite and space is not set.
What is the relevance of the cross made of the skis? I noticed it in 2 of your pieces.
That's a very interesting project. The Machete ski cross. I was in 2023. I went for an advanced sculpture program in Anderson Ranch in Colorado. That's Snowmass Village in Colorado, very close to Aspen. And I was there like for 20 days in a residency format. And when I got there, they were, again, that's always what happens in some of the residencies here, like in the spaces in the US, they throw you like in a studio and they're like, make work. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's the worst nightmare for me, as you've already seen, because it's like, okay, like, and my first reaction to that prompt was asking the person that was assisting us or driving us from like the place that we were staying to the art center to take me to the dump yard of that place. I don't know if you guys ever been to Aspen, or I mean, I think a lot of people know about Aspen, but Aspen is, you know, this huge like resort, ski resort like place, right?
Is that where like all the rich people go?
Exactly.
Yeah. In South Park.
Exactly. And Snowmass Village is like the final boss of Aspen. So it's like Aspen on asteroids. Like the streets are heated from below, like artificially.
Streets?
Yeah.
Like the sidewalks and stuff, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never been skiing in my life.
Yeah, I've more been snowboarding.
So like this town, this very artificial, you know, mansions, and I'm there for like 20 days to make art. So I'm like, okay, like I need you to take me to the dump yard. Like I really want to see like the things that are trashed here. So I went there, also in search of material, like, and I was there, and of course the first thing that I saw was like containers, full containers, you know, like 3 or 4 thousands and thousands of like skis and ski gear, and you know, the boots and all the things. And I was just like asking, okay, how much is that? I also know that ski, for a very like vague idea, it's like a very expensive sport or practice to do. And they were selling the skis. They only cost $3 each in the dump yard, and they were like in really good shape, because people, they were changing skis every season, every year. So we're talking about thousands and thousands of skis, you know. They were $3, and I was just like, okay, this is wild. And for me, skis, like again, like I come from a place where ski is not something that we practice, or neither is a thing in Colombia. So for me, these objects are very like, they're very rare. Mm-hmm. It's very rare for me to had the chance to be like so close to skis, and so I was more like seeing like a catalog of like thousands and thousands of skis. I was just like, you know, watching all the forms and the labels and the designs, and all of a sudden I started like to find these very specific ones that were called machete. I think, I mean.
I was like cross-country skis.
I mean,
the skinny ones.
The brand is called Machete, which is the machete, you know, the thing where you used as a. And I think it was really clever because they were like using an aluminum sheet, like on top of the ski, and of course it looked like the machete. And machetes in Colombia, I mean, definitely like a lot of places, machetes has a very big relationship to like land work and working with the land and the fields. It's a tool for the crops, but also like a tool for like defending yourself, in terms of like it has like these two like sides of like tool for working the crops, but also like, you know, in case of like, you know, animals, snakes, or even like people have used it against other people. Mm-hmm. I think here machetes have more like a connotation of a weapon, less than in Colombia. I mean, I grew up and my grandfather had a machete on the side of the front door, which was also like the proud, or like there was some proud on him of a person that used to work, or his father used to work the land. So it's very like cultural, like people from like the region that I grew up with, like, and a specific class, of course, you know, not the very upper high classes. I mean, you used to see machetes on the house, but more like as an ornament, or, you know, or in countryside houses, or like houses that are more close, or like houses that are like working in farmlands. And I started like taking all the machete ones that I could find. I found like 6. When I started again like doing the research of this brand or whatever, where it comes from, like what age. It's a brand that is being discontinued. It's like a very punkish brand, like the graphics and the design, and it has like swords, and like the different variations of the skis are branded like Scene and Soul, and it's like a very 90s brand. Of course, now brands now from skis are more like, I don't know, futuristic, or more like, I don't know, like pop or whatever. Yeah. But I think it was very interesting to see like a machete, thinking about, for me, the machete is an object that works the land, and then being used as someone that was like, okay, let's give it to like people that ski, and who are the people that ski, and skiing as a sport, as something that is just like, you know, very specific, tied to like a culture and to Americanism. And I mean, of course, you know, there's a culture of skiing in Europe, but there's, of course, it ties it to a very like white colonial, you know, practice. Or sport.
Even skiing in Europe is just people from America.
Exactly. So I was just like, for me, it was like, oh, how can I invert the logics of this object? And so I started like to tear the skis apart and doing like this whole, again, like refurbishing. And then I got like the blades, more like trying to make the machete come up to the surface as much as possible. So I stripped it all from like the bolts and the gears and the thing that the boot slides in and attaches and everything. So I got like this very like, and then I polished them, And I started like to cut them, and I was thinking about, I don't know if you ever seen like when people like I mean Colombia also happens, but I think here like yeah, when people sometimes die in the mountains, they you create like a cross with something, or you create like this ritual or like this almost pedestal or something that demarcates, exactly, which is almost like a shrine. It's almost like a testament of that someone died there or that is buried there. And I was thinking about the people that space, this Lomas village, was created as an artificial town, and a lot of things in Aspen were created, things that they came and murdered and completely obliterated the indigenous population that inhabited that part of Colorado. So for me it was also like, okay, how do I make a cross for like this wiping that is the most like just cross of this place? And I think for me it was like, okay, it has to be a ski cross. It has to be a cross made of the object or the device or the sport thing that is used on top of this like stolen and land that is like very tainted on murder and blood, but not in a way of only just like saying this was wrong, but also like, again, materially speaking, you have seen that I make those rounds that it sometimes like touches like humor or like dark humor or like, which is like, okay, let's make it more real. Like it's like where if you're stealing the land and you're killing the people there, like, okay, let's build a cross, and every time that you pass here, remember, when you see this cross made out of skis, what had to happen for you to ski here. So that's the story of the cross.
What are your favorite things to make?
Right now I'm very into like the slow cooking and then taking to oven like different types of rices. There's a very like specific dish that is called lechona. Inside of a pork, it's like rice that is cooked inside of a pork. You're just creating like a pillow, and then you're just stuffing it with rice and things, and then you put it in the oven, and that gets like crisp.
I know, that sounds amazing.
That's so good. It's so good.
Pork's so fatty too.
Yeah, but I think it's also like, very important for me, like the molcajete, something that I think it's very important for me. Different types of the achote is also something, a very like specific condiment of a seed that is used also a lot in Colombian cooking. But yeah, like I spend a lot of time here, definitely corn. I really like to like, cook a lot with corn, vegetables. But this is a very sacred space for me, like the kitchen. And again, like hosting, I think, is the most important thing. It is the most important thing. I really like this. Someone gave me this for my birthday. I think it's really stupid and it's just like, it just goes.
I like that.
Yeah. I really like this type of objects.
I always had little bind-up cars when I was looking.
Yeah.